Black Bag is out in theaters, new spy thriller from director Steven Soderbergh, who, by the way, is not someone I usually think of right away when asked who my favorite director is or who the best director is, but he's been consistently great across many decades now, has a huge body of work with a new movie coming out almost every year, and in some years even two of them. And he's got immense range, with so many of his movies being different types, different genres or styles of film. I mean, when you see a Tarantino movie, you know it's a Tarantino film. You see some common elements every time. When you see a Wes Anderson movie, they all look the same. But with Soderbergh, he tends to really try out new stuff, and so I'm always very excited to see a new movie of his. Anyway, this stars Michael Fassbender, Cate Blanchett, Tom Burke, Marisa Abela, Regé-Jean Page, Naomi Harris, and Pierce Brosnan. The story follows George and Kathryn, who are a married couple, both working as spies for the SIS. Each of them has their own operations, their own work, and their marriage remains successful because they keep the personal lives completely separate from the professional ones. Each of them has secrets from the other regarding work, but they go into this figurative black bag not to be addressed. One day George is informed that there is a traitor at the agency. Someone has stolen a valuable and dangerous secret and will probably attempt to sell it on the black market. The list of suspects contains 5 names, and one of those names is of course that of Kathryn. And so the game of cat and mouse begins, with George trying to find out if and how his wife is involved. So the movie was marketed as a more serious version of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but in reality it feels more like a modern, quicker version of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. And I mean that in a good way. I think this is a really solid movie, and I can very clearly list 4 reasons why I enjoyed it so much. 1, it is very efficient. 1 hour, 33 minutes of runtime. Not a single scene wasted, not an ounce of fat on this movie. Everything pushes the narrative forward. The movie doesn't overstay its welcome. It's expertly paced, well written, tight, no shameless exposition, doesn't treat the viewer like an idiot. Really economical with its runtime, which is something I wish more movies did. 2, the performances are really solid. Fassbender was, I think, born to play roles like this, an ice-cold British spy, and he manages to make this role very distinct from his other recent performance as a spy in The Agency. In here, I think he's coded as being on the spectrum. He's very robotic, methodical, unemotional, and he really sells that type of character. Blanchett carries herself with an enormous amount of class and elegance. She dominates every scene with this sort of presence of superiority. And then the supporting cast are all great, but the standout for me was Marisa Abela. It is nuts how magnetic her screen presence is and how sexy she manages to be in just simple conversations. She truly has the makings of a movie star. Reason number 3 for liking the film. It has a refreshingly interesting narrative structure in the final act. So the movie's plot progresses on 2 levels. There's the who and why and when, the mystery angle, and then there's the resulting high-stakes world crisis with the stolen secret. Now, a lesser movie, a movie that I'm used to, would have resolved the personal angle first, and then probably have an action-filled climax with the crisis resolution and stopping the bad guys. In Black Bag, the crisis is resolved first, with great efficiency, minimal effort, and honestly kind of ease for the characters, and then the actual climax becomes the personal stakes, the whodunit resolution a la Agatha Christie, which I think is a great choice because it keeps the movie grounded. And finally, reason number 4, the movie also works really well as a metaphor for the nature of relationships, as praise of loyalty, faithfulness, and having each other's back. Because when you think about it, most of the people in this film are backstabbing, selfish, cheating on one another, keeping secrets, and they all lose to some degree, and the only people who come out of this story on top are the people for whom the relationship is more important than anything else. Career, power, money, which is a pretty sweet message to have in a spy movie like this. All in all, loved it. It's not a movie that reinvents the wheel, but is fantastically efficient at what it does. Definitely worth checking out.